Absolutely ridiculous, I muttered, tapping my fourth finger against the sleek surface of the command console. The surveillance footage playing before the Galactic Concordat's High Council showed yet another bewildering human activity. They spend hours of their limited lifespans watching other humans pretend to be people they are not, in artificial scenarios that never happened. High Commander Toll cleared his throat, the sound reminiscent of a malfunctioning gravity drive. Admiral Nexbara, please maintain decorum. This is a serious briefing about the newly discovered species. I straightened my posture, my scales shifting to a more professional shade of blue. The council chamber, with its towering crystalline walls and hovering observation platforms, hardly seemed the place to discuss such a backward civilization. Yet here we were, the 15 most powerful beings in the galaxy, watching humans engage in something called reality television. My apologies, High Commander. Please continue the briefing. Lieutenant Dax, my most reliable intelligence officer, stepped forward. Her tentacles gracefully manipulated the holographic controls as she spoke. As you can see, the humans of Earth exhibit numerous behavioral anomalies. They gather in large numbers to watch other humans throw various shaped balls. They communicate through abbreviated messages and small digital images called memes, most concerning of all. They appear to derive pleasure from consuming chemical compounds that temporarily poison their bodies. You mean their alcohol? I asked, genuinely puzzled. They deliberately ingest toxins for entertainment. Correct, Admiral. And that is merely one example of their peculiar habits. The footage shifted to show a human residence. Inside, a group of humans jumped in surprise as another human emerged from behind furniture. Everyone then proceeded to emit loud vocalizations that our xenologists identified as laughter. What purpose does this serve? High Commander Tull demanded. Lieutenant Dax consulted her data tablet. They call it pranking, sir. It appears to be a form of social bonding through mild psychological warfare. I couldn't help myself. They deliberately startle each other. For fun. Indeed, Admiral. Our psychological warfare experts are baffled. The briefing continued with more examples of human oddities. They kept small predators in their homes as companions. They spent massive resources maintaining purely decorative patches of short vegetation around their dwellings. They even competed to see who could consume the most grotesquely spicy food, deliberately inflicting pain upon themselves for entertainment. Enough. High Commander Tull's scales had shifted to an alarming shade of orange. We have seen sufficient evidence of their primitive nature. Admiral Nexbara, what is your tactical assessment? I studied the planetary defense data scrolling across my console. Earth's military capabilities were laughably outdated by our standards. Their most advanced spacecraft could barely reach their own moon. Their weapons relied on chemical propellants and crude atomic fission. Their communication systems still used radio waves, for galaxy's sake. A simple containment operation should suffice, I declared confidently. One battle group could secure the entire solar system within their time unit of 1 week. The humans clearly pose no significant threat to galactic stability. High Commander Tull nodded in agreement. Very well. Admiral Nexbara, you will lead the containment fleet. Secure their system and establish a quarantine zone. We cannot risk their chaotic influence spreading to other developing civilizations. As the council chamber emptied, I lingered to watch one final piece of surveillance footage. A human female was attempting to teach a small furry predator to perform tricks in exchange for food rewards. The creature ignored her completely, knocked over a container of liquid, then proceeded to sleep in the middle of an information processing device called a keyboard. Primitives, I muttered, shaking my head. Yet something about their unpredictable nature tugged at the edges of my consciousness. The humans were clearly irrational, yet they had built a globally connected civilization, despite their chaotic tendencies. They were technologically inferior, yet they had survived multiple near-extinction events through sheer adaptability. Lieutenant Dax interrupted my musings. The containment fleet is ready, Admiral. Shall we begin the operation? I straightened my command sash and strode toward the hangar bay. Yes, Lieutenant. Let's show these humans how a proper civilization conducts itself. This will be the simplest operation of my career. Looking back now, I really should have paid more attention to that nagging doubt in my mind. I should have wondered why a species that loved pranking each other so much had survived long enough to reach space. I should have questioned why a civilization built on chaos had avoided destroying itself. But like so many great military leaders before me, I had already convinced myself of my own superiority. I was about to learn exactly why humans had a saying about pride coming before a fall. And they were going to enjoy teaching me that lesson far more than I would enjoy learning it. Our first mistake was broadcasting the standard Galactic Concordat greeting message to every communication device on Earth. We thought it would demonstrate our technological superiority. Instead, within their time unit of 1 hour, humans had turned our solemn declaration into something they called a viral video remix. Admiral Lieutenant Dax reported, her tentacles twitching nervously. The humans are responding to our arrival with, well, perhaps you should see for yourself. The main view screen filled with a rapid sequence of edited videos. Our dignified greeting had been set to rhythmic music, overlaid with bright text, and interspersed with clips of humans dancing. Worse, they had somehow managed to isolate my image from the transmission and were using it in something called reaction memes. What in the 7 spiral arms is a vibe check, Lieutenant? Unknown, sir. But this content has been shared several billion times across their global information network. I rubbed my facial ridges in frustration. This was not how first contact was supposed to proceed. Begin the containment protocol. Deploy the fleet in standard invasion formation. That was our second mistake. As our ships took position around their major population centers, the humans responded with another baffling tactic. Instead of panic or military mobilization, they began organizing massive gatherings directly beneath our vessels. They brought cooking devices, portable seating, and large quantities of their toxic recreational beverages. Sir, a junior officer called out, "The humans are calling these gatherings alien invasion block parties. They are broadcasting them live across their information networks." Before I could respond, a new transmission cut across our command frequency. A human female appeared on screen, wearing what appeared to be formal diplomatic attire, though the shoulder pads seemed unnecessarily aggressive. "Greetings, Admiral Nexbara. I am Maya Blackwood, Earth's hastily appointed alien invasion response coordinator. I must say your timing is impeccable. We were getting rather bored with our regular social media content." I maintained my professional composure, despite the absurdity of the situation. "You seem remarkably calm for someone facing planetary containment." She smiled, a gesture I would later learn could mean anything from genuine friendship to impending catastrophe. "Oh, we are taking this very seriously. In fact, we have already launched our counteroffensive." Counteroffensive? Our sensors detect no military response. Check your ship's internal networks. When we did, we discovered that somehow, during our brief interaction, humans had managed to hack into our non-essential systems. They hadn't accessed anything critical or military in nature. Instead, they had filled our entertainment databases with something called cat videos and changed all our default notification sounds to something called "never gonna give you up." "How did you breach our defenses?" I demanded. Maya's smile widened. "Admiral, did you really think it was a coincidence that all our computer systems use binary code that is compatible with yours? We have been monitoring your surveillance of Earth for quite some time. Those reality shows you watched, many were created specifically for your benefit." I felt my scales shifting to a confused purple. But the pranking? The social media? The block parties? "Oh, those are genuine. We really are like that. We just made sure you saw exactly what we wanted you to see. By the way, how are you enjoying the ship's visual interface changes?" To my horror, I noticed that all the serious military iconography on our displays had been replaced with something called emojis. Our threat assessment indicators were now various facial expressions, and our weapon systems were represented by vegetables. "This is highly irregular," I muttered, finding myself fighting back an unfamiliar facial spasm. Admiral Maya said, leaning forward, "I would like to propose a meeting, just you and me. I think you will find we have more in common than you might expect." Is this another prank? Probably. But But you are already smiling, even though your species does not naturally do so. I think you will find humans are not the only ones who enjoy a good joke. She was right. The facial spasm I was fighting was indeed an attempt to mimic a human smile. Somehow, their chaos was infectious. Very well, Miss Blackwood. But I choose the meeting location. Of course. Though I should warn you, someone has already created a parody children's book called Admiral Nexbara Goes to Earth, and it has gone viral. Your choice of meeting place will likely become a tourist attraction. And that was the moment I realized the Galactic Concordat had made a terrible mistake. We had not discovered a primitive civilization in need of containment. We had discovered a species that had turned chaos into an art form, unpredictability into a strategy, and humor into a weapon. The meeting with Maya proved even more enlightening. We chose a small establishment that served something called coffee, a stimulant beverage that humans apparently required for basic functioning. Maya arrived wearing a t-shirt bearing my image and the text vibing with my alien bestie. A gift, she said, placing a similar shirt on the table. It is already the top-selling item in our online stores. The Concordat will not be pleased, I said, yet found myself carefully folding the shirt. About that, Maya stirred her coffee thoughtfully. We have a proposal. Your leaders clearly fear our influence on galactic culture. But consider this, what if that influence could benefit both our species? As she outlined her plan, I felt that facial spasm returning. It was outrageous, unprecedented, and completely against Concordat protocol. It was also brilliant. You want to turn First Contact into a reality show. Think about it, Maya grinned. Your people get to study us in a controlled environment. We get to share our culture across the galaxy. And everyone gets to laugh along the way. The High Commander will never agree. He might, once he sees the pilot episode we have already produced. Did you know your Lieutenant Dax has an amazing singing voice? The karaoke scene tested very well with our focus groups. I should have been outraged. I should have immediately reported this breach of protocol. Instead, I found myself asking, does this establishment serve those cinnamon roll things I have heard about? Maya's eyes lit up. Admiral, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. You are quoting one of your entertainment videos again, aren't you? Movies, yes, and trust me, you have not lived until you have watched Independence Day with actual aliens. As I sat there, drinking coffee and plotting what amounted to cultural revolution with a human who had effectively pranked an entire galactic civilization, I realized something important. The Concordat had sent me to contain humanity's chaos. Instead, humanity had shown me that sometimes chaos was exactly what an ordered universe needed. And I hadn't even seen their cats yet. High Commander Tull's holographic projection loomed over the command center, his scales a dangerous shade of crimson. Admiral Nexbara, you have exactly one planetary rotation to explain why my offspring is performing human dance movements and speaking in abbreviated text language. I stood at attention, trying to maintain my professional composure despite the fact that my command sash now sported several small decorative pins Maya called memes. Button, sir. I can explain. Please do. And perhaps while you are at it, you can explain why 30% of our younger population has started something called streaming their daily activities. Before I could respond, Maya burst into the command center. She had long since been granted access, partly because she kept finding ways in anyway. Good morning, everyone. High Commander, love the new scale polish. Really brings out your disapproving glare. This is the human responsible for corrupting our culture, Tull's voice thundered through the chamber. Our intelligence suggests she is a mid-level bureaucrat with no actual diplomatic training. Maya took a sip from her ever-present coffee cup. Former social media manager for a major corporation, actually. Turns out those skills are surprisingly transferable to interstellar diplomacy. You will cease this cultural contamination immediately, Tull demanded. The Concordat has voted. We will implement complete isolation protocols. No communication, no travel, no cultural exchange. Earth will be sealed off from the galaxy. That was when Maya grinned. I had learned to both love and fear that particular expression. About that, you might want to check your personal communication device. Tull paused. Then his eyes widened as he checked his data tablet. What is this? Just a little video put together by your daughter and her friends. They call themselves the Xeno Squad now, very popular with both human and alien viewers. The command center's main screen lit up with footage of young aliens participating in human activities. They were cooking Earth food, attempting human sports, and most alarmingly, successfully replicating human meme formats with their own cultural references. 10 million followers across multiple planets, Maya announced proudly. Turns out the younger generation really appreciates Earth culture. Something about our rebellious nature really speaks to them. This is unacceptable, Tull's hologram flickered with rage. I will not allow. Oh, but it gets better, Maya interrupted, typing on her phone. Check your trending topics. Across the galaxy, on millions of devices, a new hashtag was gaining momentum: Save Earth Culture. Young aliens were sharing their favorite human content, organizing viewing parties for Earth broadcasts, and even starting petitions to their planetary governments. Lieutenant Dax, who had become surprisingly adept at human social media, brought up the statistics. Sir, we are seeing unprecedented engagement levels. The movement has spread to over 300 systems in just 6 hours. But how? Tull sputtered. I stepped forward, finally understanding Maya's master plan. Sir, while you were busy monitoring our military capabilities, the humans were demonstrating a different kind of power. They turned their greatest weakness into their greatest strength. Their chaos, Tull whispered, his scales shifting to a pale blue of realization. Exactly, Maya beamed. We are predictably unpredictable. You cannot contain us because we thrive on breaking containment. Every barrier becomes a challenge, every rule an opportunity for creative interpretation. The command center screens filled with more evidence of humanity's cultural invasion. Alien fashion designers incorporating Earth styles. Alien chefs attempting to recreate pizza. Alien entertainment networks adapting human show formats. And everywhere, memes. So many memes. The isolation protocols, Tull said weakly. They are already too late. Sir, I said, allowing myself a small smile. Perhaps we should consider a different approach. After all, the young ones seem quite taken with human culture. Maya nodded enthusiastically. We have already drafted a proposal for cultural exchange programs. Also, your daughter's Earth Cooking Disasters series is trending on 6 planets. The one where she discovered wasabi is particularly popular. Tull's hologram flickered as he slumped in his chair. The Council will never approve. Actually, Lieutenant Dax interjected, her tentacles moving gracefully across her datapad. The Council members' own offspring are among our most active supporters. Young High Counselor Zex just posted a collaboration video with a human gaming streamer. I watched as my superior officer, one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, was defeated not by military might or diplomatic pressure, but by an unstoppable wave of social media trends and viral content. Very well, Tull sighed. I will inform the Council that isolation protocols are impractical, but this must be regulated. We cannot have complete chaos. Maya and I exchanged knowing looks. Of course not, she said soothingly. We will establish proper guidelines. Right after we finish filming the pilot episode of Galactic Kitchen Nightmares with your daughter as co-host. As Tull's hologram faded, still muttering about cultural preservation and proper protocols, I turned to Maya. You planned this from the beginning, didn't you? Please, she scoffed. This was just humanity being humanity. We saw an opportunity and took it. The fact that it perfectly countered your containment strategy was just a happy coincidence. And the trending hashtag? The coordinated content campaign? The youth movement? Okay, maybe we helped things along a little, but the genuine cultural exchange? The connections being formed? That is all real. Turns out the galaxy was ready for a little chaos. Lieutenant Dax approached with a tablet. Sir, the latest numbers are in. Human content now accounts for 30% of all galactic entertainment consumption. And, Admiral, your cooking video with Maya has just reached 1 billion views. I felt my scales shift to an embarrassed purple. I told you we should not have posted that grilled cheese attempt. Are you kidding? Maya laughed. Kitchen fires are universal comedy. Now about that reality show idea. Looking around my command center, now decorated with Earth posters and staffed by officers wearing casual Earth fashion on their off-duty hours, I realized that the Concordat's worst fears had come true. Human chaos had indeed infected galactic civilization. And somehow, against all logic, the galaxy was better for it. The Galactic Concordat's Grand Chamber had changed significantly since our first briefing about Earth. The formal seating arrangements now included comfortable Earth-style chairs. Several council members were discreetly sipping beverages from cups bearing the logo of something called Starbucks. And most notably, the chamber's usual somber atmosphere had been replaced by an almost festive mood. Let the record show, High Commander Tull announced, his scales now permanently tinted with a slight purple hue of resignation, that the Concordat hereby recognizes Earth as a full member of the galactic community, with all associated rights and privileges. Maya, sitting beside me in the diplomatic section, raised her coffee cup in celebration. She had traded her usual business attire for a formal diplomatic robe, though I noticed she had somehow managed to incorporate a pocket for her phone. Furthermore, Tull continued, in recognition of the unprecedented cultural exchange between our civilizations, we are establishing a new position, Ambassador of Terran Galactic Relations. I stepped forward, my command sash now officially modified to include Earth symbols. I accept this position with great honor, High Commander. Very good, Ambassador Nexbara Tull nodded. Though I must ask, those symbols on your sash, they are not actually official Earth government seals, are they? They are logos from something called social media platforms, sir. Maya assures me they are the true seats of Earth power. A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber, including from several council members who had become surprisingly adept at human humor. That was when Maya stood up, and I noticed a familiar glint in her eyes. Thank you, High Commander. And since we are now officially part of the galactic community, I suppose it is time we came clean about a few things. The chamber fell silent. Maya pulled out her phone and projected a series of images onto the main display screen. You see, we knew about the Galactic Concordat long before you officially discovered us. Those primitive radio signals you detected, deliberately broadcast, the seemingly chaotic social media content, carefully curated, even our apparent technological limitations were, well, let's call it a galactic scale prank. Tull's scales shifted rapidly through several colors. What are you saying? Maya grinned. Would you like to know why we really use chemical rocket propulsion and radio waves? Because we figured out that advanced civilizations would consider them charmingly primitive. We have had quantum communication capabilities for decades, but appearing harmlessly backward was much more useful. I felt my own scales shifting to a shocked white. The compatibility of our computer systems was not a coincidence. No, we had been quietly accessing your networks for years. All those viral videos and memes? We had bots ready to translate and distribute them across galactic social media the moment first contact was made. The chamber erupted in chaos. Council members argued in multiple languages. Junior staffers frantically checked their data tablets. And through it all, Maya calmly sipped her coffee. But why, I asked, surprised to find myself more amused than alarmed. Because Maya explained, we knew that any advanced civilization would see our chaos as a weakness, a reason to contain us. So we turned it into our greatest weapon. We did not just accept our reputation for unpredictability, we weaponized it. Tull, who had finally settled on a pale blue shade, leaned forward. The cultural integration, the youth movement, the social media trends. All genuine reactions, Maya assured him. We just made sure the stage was perfectly set. Humanity's greatest strength is not our technology or our military might. It is our ability to make others want to be more like us. A young council member stood up. The trending hashtags, the viral content. Oh, those were absolutely manufactured, Maya laughed. But your genuine enthusiasm for human culture, that was real. We just needed to show you it was okay to embrace a little chaos. I looked at my modified command sash, at the chamber full of aliens who had gradually adopted human mannerisms, at the coffee cups and casual attitudes that had infiltrated the highest levels of galactic government. "You pranked the entire galaxy," I said with growing admiration. "No," Admiral Maya corrected me. "We helped the galaxy prank itself. All we did was show you how much fun a little disorder could be." The real genius of it finally hit me. By appearing primitive, humans had prevented any serious military response. By seeming chaotic, they had made their influence seem natural rather than calculating. And by making the whole thing seem like one big joke, they had accomplished what no amount of force could have. They had made the galaxy want to be more human. "I suppose," Tull said slowly, "this means we should reconsider the terms of our cultural exchange agreements." "Oh, those can stay exactly as they are," Maya assured him. "We have no interest in galactic domination. We just want to keep making the galaxy a more interesting place." Speaking of which, who is ready for the premiere of Dancing with the Stars Interstellar Edition? 5 years later. I stood in my office at the Earth Embassy, watching ships dock at the newly completed orbital station. My walls were covered in photos, the first intergalactic meme competition, the galactic debut of human musical genres, the opening of the first Earth-style shopping mall on a Concordat world. Maya burst in, somehow still carrying the same coffee cup after all these years. "Have you seen the latest numbers? 70% of galactic citizens under the age of 50 now regularly consume human media. And the Concordat has never been more stable," I noted. "It turns out a little chaos is good for social cohesion." "Who would have thought?" Maya grinned. "By the way, your cooking show just got renewed for another season. The episode where you discovered spicy food is now required viewing in diplomatic training." I adjusted my ambassador's sash, now completely covered in social media pins and meme references. "You humans truly are remarkable. You conquered the galaxy without firing a shot." "Conquered? No, we just showed the galaxy how to have fun. The fact that it completely transformed galactic society was just a bonus." My communication panel lit up with another trending alert. Somewhere in the galaxy, another alien youth movement was discovering human culture. Another civilization was learning to embrace a little chaos. Another world was joining what humans called the party. And I, former admiral of the Galactic Concordat, now Earth's biggest fan in the galaxy, could not be prouder to be part of it. "Maya," I said, checking my Earth-style calendar, "is not today the anniversary of first contact?" "Why, yes it is." "Then perhaps we should celebrate with one of your human traditions. I believe it is called a flash mob." Maya's eyes lit up. "Ambassador Nexbara, I thought you would never ask." As we headed out to organize what would become the largest synchronized dance event in galactic history, I realized that the humans had taught us all a valuable lesson. Sometimes the best way to change the universe is not through force or fear, but through laughter, joy, and the occasional perfectly timed prank. And somewhere out there, a young alien was posting their first meme, starting their own revolution, one laugh at a time.